Just a moment. One more time. Brittany, can you hear us? Let me adjust slightly more. 1, 2, 1, 2. Brittany, we should be good to go, all right?
Test it.
You're going to be Facebook Live there. So.
Okay. Ready? Hi, I'm Denise Penn. I'm the Southern California co-chair of the LGBT caucus of the California State Democratic Party, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you who live in my district, where we have not had a congressman who listened to us or understood us for many, many years, and it's just so exciting to be here. And as a person who's lived here forever and ever, and as a LGBT person and a person who's raised a family, I'm really excited to be able to have the honor to introduce somebody who shares my passion for electing a congressman who cares about the same issues that we do. So here with us today is someone who has been working for equal rights for years and years and years, and started off in Arkansas, where he was born, working with the Clinton campaign way back in '93, went on to found the American Foundation for Equal Rights, and was instrumental in putting together the bipartisan team that secured marriage equality for all Americans. Amazing. He's gone on to do much work for our community and for people everywhere in our country. And in 2012, in June, I did meet him at the White House reception for LGBT people, which President Obama held every June. Unfortunately, we haven't had any of those receptions lately.
You and I probably wouldn't go if they had them, right?
Yeah, right. It was a truly incredible time. For the first time, open LGBT servicemen who had served our country were able to attend a reception in the White House with the President of the United States in uniform and out being who they are. And lastly, I want to say one more thing about Chad. Recently, Vice President Biden has launched a campaign about family acceptance, and Chad was instrumental behind the scenes working with Vice President Biden and inspiring him to do this. In June, he was appointed president of the Human Rights Campaign, and I'm very honored to introduce Chad Griffin.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Denise, for your long-time leadership. We are grateful for all that you have done for our communities and communities all across the county. So thank you. And we will have that reception again. So put on your calendar, June 2021. June 2021, we're going to have a pro-equality president back in the White House. But we have a lot of work to do between now and then. And I don't have to tell you that the folks of the 49th District, quite frankly, all Californians, and people all across this country, LGBTQ people, women, communities of color, immigrants, are under attack day in and day out by this president, by this vice president, and by their entire administration. It's easy to get distracted. That's actually what they want us to do. They want us to chase every crazy tweet or every bizarre interview given. But we can't do that. What we've got to do is focus like a laser on what we can actually do something about. And this November, this district has the ability to play a key role in pulling the emergency brake on this president, this vice president, and the current Congress that will not stand up to their hateful agenda. So let me ask you a couple of questions. How many of you are ready for a pro-equality, sane majority in the House of Representatives, right? And especially while I'm, back home in California and here in the 49th, how many of you are ready to replace Darrell Issa with a pro-equality champion? Well, I am so happy to be here today because you have that choice. You have the ability to pull the emergency brake on this administration, and you have the ability to replace Darrell Issa with a pro-equality champion that will go to Congress, that will fight for all members of the 49th Congressional District, won't leave anyone behind. I have to say the choice in this race, the differences between these two candidates could not be grander. The opponent on the other side, the Republican nominee, her entire time in public service, she has attacked LGBTQ people relentlessly by her votes. When she went to Sacramento, instead of standing up for all members of her district, she chose to attack members of her district. She chose to attack the thousands of LGBTQ young people and so many others in this district. She chose the way of special interest, and she chose the way of extreme right, out of touch with her own constituents. Time and time again, when given the opportunity to stand up and to defend LGBTQ people, she went the other way. I could give you example after example, but we'd be here all day. I want to focus on one thing that is unconscionable. If she had her way, today, young people in the state of California, young LGBTQ people, needs to be subjected to the dangerous practice of conversion therapy. Now, thank goodness she didn't get her way when she voted against that bipartisan bill that banned child abuse against LGBTQ youth. She didn't get her way because the majority voted for it. And today, California is one of 15 states in this country that ban the abusive practice of conversion therapy on our young people. So we are proud that California is a shining example in this country. But if she had had her way, that practice, that abusive practice where young people, against their will oftentimes, are subjected to torture simply because of who they are, that has consequences. And that kind of vote is a defining vote of one's character, of one's moral character. It answers the question, who are you and who do you stand up for? So let's not forget that. And every door you knock on, and every phone call you make between now and Election Day, remember who's on the other side. But what's also amazing is we have one of the grandest champions of equality we could possibly have as the Democratic nominee for the 49th District. Mike Levin, speaking of one's moral character, he has spent his lifetime as a community leader, as an environmental attorney, standing up to not just protect the air and water, but standing up to protect all folks in his community. And made a decision long ago that he was not going to go down the path of where he would discriminate against others in his career, as his opponent has done. So it is my great honor, on behalf of the thousands of HRC members and supporters in the 49th District and tens of thousands more in the state of California, it's my honor to today extend the Human Rights Campaign's endorsement of Mike Levin for United States Congress. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am fired up. This is amazing. HRC knows how to do an endorsement. This is pretty good. I cannot thank HRC enough. Chad, thank you so much for all that you do. Not just behalf of the LGBTQ community, but on behalf of all Americans, all that you're doing to stand up each and every day for social justice. Let's give a huge round of applause to the Human Rights Campaign. And to my dear friend Denise Penn, I want to thank you for all you've done in support of our campaign over the last 2 years, but beyond that, for many decades, what you have done in Southern California as a true leader. Again, not just in the LGBTQ community, but for all who are concerned with social justice and equal rights. Let's give a huge round of applause to Denise. I am so incredibly grateful to stand with you over the next 87 days. By the way, can you believe it's only 87 days away?
Who's counting?
Who's counting? We have a lot of work to do. We collectively have a lot of work to do. And I truly believe that this election is far bigger than me. It's far bigger than any one campaign. This is about the future of our country and the type of course we're going to take. And it's a course that will either be on the path towards greater social justice, along with economic justice and environmental justice, or it's going to be a validation of what we're seeing from Washington today. And one of the things that concerns me the most is the erosion of that common belief in America that we must respect and appreciate one another, because that's the America that I grew up in, that my grandparents and that my parents taught me was really what America was supposed to be all about, regardless of your sexual orientation, your gender identity, but for that matter, your religion, your race, your country of origin, your gender. Our differences are actually what strengthen us, appreciating one another. Not just tolerating one another, but appreciating one another and realizing that it's our diversity that is inherently America's greatest strength. That's how I was raised. And hopefully, in 87 days, we will remind everyone, not just in California, although I see California as a beacon of hope and opportunity and equality, but we will remind everyone all across this nation that we are going to reject the divisiveness, the hatred. We're going to reject the rhetoric that tries to drive us apart, and we're going to unite around shared principles again. And one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to get the Equality Act back on track in the Congress. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the advances that we've made in the state of California don't just stop at California. There are still 30 states where we're too far behind when it comes to LGBTQ rights. We're going to make sure that equal rights are across the land in all 50 states, and we won't stop until we get that work done. And we're going to make sure that we speak truth to power, because what's happening in Washington, D.C. today is we've got people who are looking the other way at what I believe is the most corrupt, most dishonest, and least prepared administration in our nation's 240-year history. This is serious work. That's why it's about more than me. It's about more than one district, although this is a really important district, and I'm glad you're here. This is about the future of our democracy, our very democratic institutions, our free press, our independent judiciary. So we have to, for the next 87 days, give it all that we possibly have got. Because when we wake up on November 7th, the day after the election, we can't have any regrets. We can't think that there's another door that we could have knocked, or another call that we could have made, or another person we could have engaged. Because this really is, and it's probably been said many times, but this really is the most important election of our lifetimes. And if we work hard, and we knock on every door, and we make every call, and we stay up a little later and work a little harder, maybe then our comfort zone would naturally have us do. And we wake up on November 7th with no regrets. I know that we're going to win this district. We're going to take back the House, and we're going to fight once again for our democracy. So thank you all so much for being here. Let's win in November. Thank you, Human Rights Campaign. Let's go to work. Thank you all very much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Proud to be here with you. Thank you.